Thank you. Oh man, that's so cringy. Hello and welcome back to the channel today. As many of you will know, especially my close friends, my favourite game of all time, undoubtedly, is Resident Evil 4. Simply because I've just got really fond memories of getting it back on the PS2. I remember getting it Christmas morning with a brand new PS2, the slimline version, and I was just so hyped to play the game. And when I finally got my hands on it, I absolutely loved it. And I think, actually I know, it's the game I've completed more than any other game, untold amount of times. So when they announced a remake, obviously, a fan of my caliber was extremely excited. Whilst I was extremely excited, I was a little bit on the fence with it, simply because I wasn't too sure if it really needed a remake too much. And kind of looking back on it now and seeing the new footage they brought out, it absolutely does need a remake. I've made my mind up, or maybe that's just bias talking and a bit of nostalgia kicking in. But it looks remarkable. What I'm going to be doing today is kind of just looking at the new Resident Evil trailer for number 4 with you guys. I haven't done a video like this before, but I just figured why not. Ideally, I would have liked to have done it live. I did watch the Capcom conference and the Silent Hill one actually the other day. I was actually on holiday, but it was late at night, so I had time to do it. And I would have loved to have done it live, but as I say, we weren't in the area, so I couldn't do it. But I am going to look back at it now and watch it properly, because I only watched the conference live, so I've only really seen it, and it was a lot to take in all at once. So this is my second time watching it. So yeah, I'm extremely excited for this game. It might be the most excited I've ever been for a game, which is in a way a little bit sad, because I kind of already know what I'm getting with it. Like, the story's already there, but seeing this trailer live, I'm fully into it now. I am fully on board with playing this remake, and without jumping the gun too much, I think it's already a contender for my favourite game of all time. It may knock the original off the top spot, simply because it looks like they've kept very true to the original game, but just made some quality of life improvements and obviously improved the graphics. So what's not to like about that? You might notice that I'm holding my mic like a bit of an idiot. Just because I've moved setups, I am now in a different room and I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing with everything yet. The desk is too thick for my mic clamp, so I need to get a new mic arm. So I have no choice but to hold my mic like this at the moment. It looks a bit goofy, I know, but what are you going to do, eh? So yeah, let's get into this game. No, game? We're not playing the game. And for your viewing pleasure, we're watching it in 4K because I've got NASA internet, so I can watch anything in 4K. It's going to be good.
How far could he have gone?
So this is the original house from the first one, the first house you come to, and immediately the graphical improvement is obviously outstanding, but I'm looking more at the atmosphere. So just the way the fog kind of sits on top of the surfaces, and the way the whole kind of area is encapsulated in darkness because of all the trees around. And I feel like they really captured the atmosphere of what they wanted to do in the original, but didn't have the software or hardware or whatever.
Anyone home?
The graphics are astounding. The lighting's beautiful as well. Again, atmosphere. You never got this in the original 4, which I think is the only thing it was really missing, was a really good atmosphere and a colour palette where it wasn't just brown.
Hey. I read you. What's your situation? What the hell's going on? What was that? No fucking way.
So straight away, what I'm noticing from this is they've really turned up the how horrifying the Ganados are. It seems like they're kind of leaning more towards them being, rather than villagers that are being controlled, into literally the parasite taking over. Almost more like The Last of Us in a way. But they do seem to be a lot more feral than the original game, and I really like that. I think it adds to the horror factor. I mean, just from that one character model, it looked really, really impressive. And it really threw me off when I first saw Ganado come into the room, because I wasn't expecting it to look like that, especially with like a broken neck and all that. But yeah, like from what I've seen with the enemies so far, they do look really, really good. And could stealth be making a little appearance? I'm all for it. As long as it's not too stealth heavy, obviously just little bits of stealth here and there, I think it'll be a good addition. Leon's character model is outstanding, by the way. They've really done him a service.
Bruce, this is Condor 1.
Hunnigan here. What's your sit rep?
President's daughter, Baby Eagle.
Hunnigan's a fox as well, boys.
She's in this village.
Our intel was correct then. Well done.
Something's happened to the people here. My escorts are... Gotta go. Talk later.
Oh, they're jumping out the window. Mechanic is still in the game by the looks of things. Now, I'm just going to stop here for a second. Obviously, it doesn't look great because Leon's moving, so there's a bit of a blur effect and everything. But just look at the detail in the village. It looks amazing. And I don't... like, just from looking from this little few minutes of gameplay in the village area, I don't think they could have made it look any better and stay more true to the original game. These enemies kind of look a bit more human than the first one we saw, but maybe that's because the infection's taken over, like it's further along, I'm guessing. Leon's still got his little quips as well by the looks of things, and keeping a little bit of the cheesiness. What did he say then?
Bill me for the repairs later.
Bill me for the repairs later. So... they've still got that little bit of cheesiness, which I think this game really needs to hold on to. I think it needs to drop some of the cheesiness because sometimes it was a bit overbearing. And I think that's part of the charm, but with the updated graphics and the push more towards realism, I think the character needs to be a bit more realistic in the way it acts in his surroundings, if that makes sense. So obviously Leon's more confident here than he was in the second game, so he's going to be more cocky, I suppose. But some of the stuff he said in the original... they go down in gaming lore, but I think it's probably the best idea to drop a lot of it, but keep just a little bit. Where's everybody going? Bingo.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Here we go. I was so hyped to see the chainsaw guy. Dr. Salvador looks absolutely terrifying in this one. I mean, he's terrifying in the number 4. So kind of what this little bit here tells me that we're going to get a bit more freedom of movement in the levels, which I think is a massive welcome into the game. Now, I know a lot of ledges you could jump down in the first one, but it was so stiff and the movement was kind of slowed you down so much. But this looks so smooth just to jump off there. Again, more realistic, because if you're being chased by a geezer with a chainsaw, you're not going to stop by the ledge, look down and then jump. You're just going to jump for it. No, I would. Have that. This is a nice element. The fact that they can hold you for the chainsaw guy. That's going to really add to the scare factor. Shotgun sounds nice and punchy. And that is beyond belief. I don't know if that's possible in real life. I would assume it's probably not. But video games, eh? There is also another trailer they brought out, just kind of explaining a bit more of the story, just little snippets of the game. So I'm going to watch that one too as well. And then after, I can give you my full thoughts on it. Let's go. It looks very... much more ritualistic this time, whereas they were injecting the parasite into the host's neck. It looks like more like Resident Evil 5, where they kind of, I don't know, force an infection down the throat. I don't know.
Someone? Maybe some missing señorita? By
the way, he's been getting a bit of flack, the character model for Luce, but I think he's absolutely perfect. So that's all I've got to say on that. I think he looks great.
Ashley, where are you?
Your soul requires...
Look at this boy as well. Look at this guy. He looks phenomenal also. I hope, in a way, they make him more of a stalker enemy in this game. Because he's such a big presence, he could really fulfill a role of a stalker, such as Nemesis or Mr. X. I'd lean more towards the Mr. X slow tracking you down rather than the Nemesis aggression, because I don't think the aggression really suits him as much. But if they could kind of make that a thing, I think that'd be really good, that he was kind of stalking you around the first area. It may obviously give the game a bit more replayability, knowing that you don't know when he's coming. Not so much like the scripted times he comes in Nemesis comes in number 3, because that kind of ruined it. He wasn't really a stalker. You knew when he was going to turn up. If you played the game once or twice, you knew when he were coming, and that wasn't the case with Resident Evil 2. So if they do a stalker role, I just hope it's not so scripted as number 3, because it really killed it for me. But he looks great.
Requires cleansing.
Ashley Graham, are you in here?
Just let me go.
Listen.
I finally got rid of Ashley's massive ears, though.
What is that?
A welcome upgrade.
The lost lambs are escaping.
We need to go. I'm gonna get you home safe.
You can stop right there.
Ada, who are you? What are you doing here?
I am Louisetta.
I think the disciple will show her the path.
By the way, I was not expecting this. I forgot his name now. That's really poor of me to say. I'm a big fan. But I was not expecting him to look this scary. It looks terrifying.
Ashley, run!
The entire world shall overflow with his grace.
What's happening to me?
Your right hand comes off.
Now, abandon your body.
Leave the girl. She's lost no matter what.
By the way, people have been liking this guy too, Hezbollah. I don't know if it's just because he's short, but I can kind of see it a little bit. minus the hair. But people have been slating him as well. I don't know what to make of him. That's not enough time to really see what he's all about. I don't mind the character model with the hair and stuff. It's kind of more old-timey, and I think that's what he was like in the first Resident Evil 4 anyway, so...
Now that he has chosen death.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yes! So they also showed a bit of the merchant off. There's not really much footage, it's just a little bit of him talking. So I'm not going to review that because there's no real point. There's not much to it. But it's just the merchant again, by the looks of things, and that's a good thing because he was a fan favourite. So why change him? I am absolutely buzzing with this trailer. I'm now completely sold on the idea of a remake, and I can completely see the vision they're going for. And seeing it the way it is now, then yeah, it probably does need a remake. So yeah, visuals outstanding, atmosphere looks really good. Obviously at the start it kicked up the action to the village segment, which is understandable, but I through the game I really think they're going to kick up the horror in certain areas, and I think that'll be perfect. Having more horror areas and elements, and then having actiony bits. That's what Resident Evil 4 should be, and I think, as I said before, that's all I think the 4th was missing, just that horror element, and that looks like they're trying to install into this game. So yeah, I'm all for it. The attaché what?
Attaché case.
Attaché case? I can't say it. Anyway, you know what I'm on about. That's made a return, the little resource management thing, which I absolutely love. Me being a little bit OCD about stuff, I absolutely love sorting all my stuff out. So I'm really glad to see that's made it back into the game. I think that's probably the best inventory system they've had, and it's still to this day the best one they've had. So it's almost like a game in itself. And I'll just sit there for like 10 minutes trying to sort my shit out all the time. What I will say is, for the future going forward for Resident Evil, with it being my favourite franchise, there is a couple of things I'd like to see them do. Now, I'm a bit torn, simply because if a game really needs a remake in the Resident Evil series, it's Code Veronica. And I'm not even a massive fan of Code Veronica. I played it not long ago, I got halfway through, and it kind of... I felt like it dragged on a bit too long for me, and the tank controls with fixed cameras just don't do it for me anymore, and it's really outdated, and I just struggled to get through it. I'm not saying it's a bad game, it's just not for me anymore. It is too long-winded. When I got to the second island, I almost felt like the game should nearly be over, and I was like, what, I'm halfway through, I can't be dealing with it anymore. So I got halfway through, it was semi-enjoyable. But if a game needs a remake, then surely Code Veronica would be perfect for that. Probably more so than Resident Evil 4. The setting for the game would be outstanding in my opinion. So obviously the island on Code Veronica is based loosely off Alcatraz. And with the new technology and the way they do the graphics with the new engines, imagine how good they could make that game look and run and feel, and the atmosphere they could create with a dark, dingy island in the middle of the sea. I think there's a real opportunity there, and if they don't explore that, then I think it really is a missed opportunity. And the reason why I said I'm kind of torn with this whole scenario is because I would love to see a Code Veronica remake, but I would also like to see game developers bring out new games, and I mean fresh new stories, not feeding us remakes all the time. And I know I'm part of the problem because I see these games and I see how good they look, and I'll just buy them because I can't help myself. But I'm feeding into the problem of developers kind of, I wouldn't seem to say getting lazy, because the amount of effort they've clearly put into this remake is obviously from the ground up. So it's not laziness, it's almost a reluctance to make a brand new story. I'd really like to see them come away from the first person view, because to me, over the shoulder is just miles ahead for this type of game than anything first person. If they put Resident Evil 4 in first person, it would be a travesty. And I think watching this trailer now, we kind of realise that it's got to be in third person over the shoulder. It's as simple as that. First person just doesn't work for it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the issue is, or if it's just my issue. But it doesn't feel like Resident Evil. And it's got to go back to just being a third person. Get rid of the first person nonsense. I'm sick of it. Being a Resident Evil fan, a massive fan of the franchise, I can't really ask for more, can I? They're doing such a good job with the series. They brought it back from life. I thought it was the death of Resident Evil at number 6. I couldn't really see any way back for it. It had gone to absolute shit. It was ruined. So to see this out so many years later, and to sit here and watch this trailer, it's just fills me with happiness. And by the way, what a time to be a survival horror fan. You've just had, obviously you've got the Resident Evil games coming out every couple of years. You've always got something fresh. And Silent Hill's just been announced as well. I've never really been much of a fan of Silent Hill games. I've always been intrigued by it, but I tend to prefer the more of the reality and the real stuff. It's almost supernatural in the Silent Hill games from what I've seen. And you're kind of losing your mind. You don't know what's real. I prefer the real. Do you know what I mean? And it's to take nothing away from Silent Hill. I've always been incredibly intrigued by the series, but I've just never took the leap. And I really want to, and I've been really thinking about playing Silent Hill 2. It was just a matter of logistics of how I was going to get to play Silent Hill 2, because you can't find it anywhere unless you've got an original PlayStation copy of it. You can't find it online. It's so difficult to get a hold of. And I think if I did manage to get a hold of one, I probably would have played it. But now the remake's been announced, Silent Hill 2 Remake. It's the perfect opportunity for me to get into the series, and I'm really down for it, because everybody always says Resident Evil and Silent Hill are the fathers of survival horror, and that's absolutely true. They created everything spooky in gaming that we know today. Everything kind of stems from those two games at some point. Every game has borrowed something from these two games. I just hope they can kind of nail it with Silent Hill 2, because this is make or break for it in a way. I know they're bringing a lot of things out, but if they really mess up the Silent Hill 2 remake, it's going to leave such a bitter taste in people's mouths, and I don't think people will really trust Konami again after that, because they've really dropped the ball on the series the last few games they brought out, and then they couldn't get PT over the line as well. So they've got a lot of redemption to do, and hopefully they get this right so we can get some really good survival horror games coming out in the next few years. It's not just that, there's so many good looking games coming out. I'm really excited for the Callisto Protocol. That game that's coming out from the original makers of the Dead Space series. It just kind of looks like a Dead Space clone, which isn't a bad thing, but you can tell they've borrowed a lot of elements from Dead Space, which is fine, because Dead Space plays like a dream. Dead Space 2 is one of my favourite horror games of all time. It's definitely up there, so I don't mind them borrowing stuff. And then you've got the Dead Space remake, which again, another remake, and a little bit disappointing in a way, but also still exciting for me, because it's still going to be good, and I'm still going to play it. And again, I'm part of the problem, but how long games take to make these days, when something good comes out, you have got to just enjoy it while it's there, and not kind of worry about the politics around it so much. Then there's Alone in the Dark coming back as well, which has really surprised me, because I didn't think I'd ever see that making a comeback, especially after the disaster of the last game that was brought out. It was terrible. But again, it seems like every developer wants to jump on the kind of Resident Evil. It's almost like Resident Evil have laid the blueprint for remakes, and every developer's seen the success and the money that's been created and the buzz around it, and they all want to jump on it now, and I don't blame them. And if they can actually make good games, even if they are remakes, then go mental. But bring original stuff out as well, please, developers. Don't just bring remakes out all the time. Do a bit of both. But yeah, back to Silent Hill also. I know this is a Resident Evil video, but it's also a horror video. Survival horror video as well. Silent Hill F really caught my eye. More so than anything else they showed. So they showed Silent Hill. I can't remember. I'll put an image of it. But that's a new Silent Hill game completely. But it's kind of hard to get hyped over that because they literally didn't show anything. So we'll see. But what really caught my eye was Silent Hill F. Simply because of the setting and the art style really intrigued me. If you've got a fear of there's this weird little fear that I've seen before. I'm not personally too bothered with it. These holes in things. So again, I'll pop it on screen because I can't remember what it's called. But it's kind of holes in like cheeses or if someone's got like a wart or whatever. It really affects some people. And if you watch this trailer and you have that fear, it's really gonna mess with you. But the kind of, it almost looked like 60s Japan or something like that, or feudal Japan in a way. And there's not enough games coming out that are exploring Japan. Same way London, and a survival horror game in London would be amazing. But it's always in America or some weird European country or whatever. Spain, for example. So when these games do come out, I will be popping them on the channel. I'll definitely be popping Resident Evil 4 on the channel. Whether I'll do a full series, I don't know. It might just be a one-off video, or I'll just kind of cram as much as I can into one video. We'll see. But I know I don't have many subscribers, but I would love a little discussion in the comments if people have any thoughts on what I've said, or if you disagree at any points. But yeah, as a survival horror fan, we're eating at the moment. We're going to be eating for a few years to come. I'm going off on a tangent again. I've got so much to say. And I don't do it very often. I just play games and make a fool of myself. And now I've got this opportunity to talk, so I'm just talking. Yeah, if you've made it to the end of the video, well done, because I've been waffling a lot. But I've just got a lot to say. And I'm a big fan of gaming. And I'm a big fan of Resident Evil and survival horror, as you can probably tell by the channel. So thanks for sticking about and listening to me waffle on. I think we've got some exciting things to come, and I hope you're excited as I am. So yeah, thanks for coming to the channel today, and I will see you in my next gameplay, which maybe, I'm not 100% sure yet, maybe Scorn that's just come out on the Xbox Game Pass. I might do a one-off video of that, but we'll see. I haven't made my mind up yet. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video.